Hello YouTube, this is Fat Guy Flies RC. Hello. We're going to do a build video of the e-flite tractor. Bind and fly. Just got it in the mail today. I'm going to put it together, using the manual. And hopefully, hope you can see that. First thing it calls out for is start with your landing gear, which is enclosed right here. And I haven't really done anything with it other than just took it out of the box. I figure there's multiple unboxing videos out there, so I figured we didn't need to do an unboxing. Just to let you know, Phillips head screw on everything. So that's that. Makes it easy. I didn't notice any metric or hex head or Allen wrenches per se. All standard Phillips. Now you're going to get 6 screws, 4 for the wing, the other 2 are going for the landing gear. And one of e-flite's, or Horizon Hobby e-flite, one of their downfalls has always been they don't always label their bags, and they always kind of give you a vague description and say, well, that size bolt, hold on, I need to get a different screwdriver here, and that's what you get. But if you put more than 2 of these models together before, you won't have any problem figuring it out. And if you do have a problem, got the College of YouTube that you can always refer to. Those are nice and tight. So they just 2 screws go in right there. Now the other thing it calls for, now whenever you put a screw on these models, you gotta remember, yes, they do go into metal or brass fittings or anything. Just put them in nice, snug and tight, and just a little bit more. But you don't want them, we think we're strong, gotta be nice and tight. No, just nice and snug. That's all you need to do. Otherwise, you tighten it too much and strip it, and now you got problems. Now, there are no instructions on how to put the tail or the rudder wheel on, but it's pretty obvious. You're going to put this piece here, which is your little back wheel. There's a slotted area. Let me see if you can see it. There's a slotted area right there. Kind of obvious how that sits in there. So, I'm going to slide that bad boy in there. Okay. You got a little baggie of screws that are kind of wide threaded with washers. That has to be for this, because it doesn't go to the wing, it doesn't go to the landing gear. So process of elimination, which makes sense because you got the metal screw through the washer and then into your tail assembly. And once again, I have set the screwdriver I want to use down, and I don't know where I put it. Oh, right there in front of me. Oh, snake bit me here, here, and here. Okay, so now I'm going to want to get that. You might have to finagle with it a little bit. Maybe even change the angle there. It doesn't line up perfectly well. You know what? I think what I'll do is I'll feed it through here first. That's kind of a tight fit also. Feed it through there first. Then I'll feed it through that. Sorry, I'm having some. It's amazing how changing screwdrivers makes a difference. Even ones with the same sort of. By the way, I do recommend using a plain stand, like you see that I'm using right now. because number one, it protects the plane. Another thing you can do that Brian Phillips does on his planes, and I do it sometimes too, is I put in a, you know what folks, let's pause for just a second so I'm not boring you with this. Alright folks, I was wrong. You're going to get a little baggie that has two very distinct threaded screws that have two little flat washers in them. Don't use them to connect your tail wheel. They do not go for that. I'll put them in my magnetic tray. What you use is the baggie that has the springs in it. You'll see a bag that's got some springs in it. There's two screws that look like this. And there's, like I say, there's no instructions on putting the tail. Pointed, I want to say maybe it's a 3mm. I've already got one in, and it went right in. So that when it fits right away, I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I've already got the first one in, putting in the second one now. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And like I say, you just want to get it nice and snug. Kind of. The way I like to picture this is, what if you were doing this and full scale? Your tools wouldn't be able to have as much power as your hand does, if you're following me on that. Okay, now we've got to get the tail. Hold on. Like I say, there's no instructions on this, so put that away. Let's move this over and get this where y'all can see it. Sorry, this is my very first build video, very first one, so I'm a little having to learn. Just keep an eye on where you put all your little screws and all your little bits and pieces, and don't lose them like I do, because I lose everything, mostly my mind. Alright, put my wing screws in here, so I know where they're at, my bind plug in there, and all my little baggy pieces can go in the trash. I have found that when you're building planes, as you generate trash, go ahead and move it away from the field, because it gets in the way, hides stuff, and then you get frustrated. You're, where the heck is that? Where the heck did it go? And blah 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 blah. You know, you want to have a positive experience, not a negative experience. Okay, this piece here, I'm almost 100% sure goes for if you were to put the float attachments. So I'm going to put that to the side. It also has little set screws that would go. You've seen these quick connects where the fishing line would go through there, or the fishing line peg, and it has these little set screws that go in the top of that. You can see what I'm doing there. So that I don't lose those little set screws, I'm going to go ahead and screw them right on in there. Okay. The other thing you would do, provided I can get this to work for me, come on now, you can do it. I got faith in your butt. You can do it. Come on. Alright, hold on folks. I'm fiddling with things that are small. Oh, that sounds bad. Alright, what you would normally would have done is take this piece, attach it to this piece on the tail, on the rudder, and then that would connect to the strings for your thing. So I don't need to do that right now. and I've got a few extras. So I'm going to take the little 2 extra screws there and set screw, put them over here. Put that over there. I'll put them back in a little baggie, which only leaves me with my last 2 screw tooth objects, which are these 2 tiny screws, which are tiny, tiny, tiny thin screws. I don't know if you can see them or not. They go for the tail, for the horizontal stabilizer. And then all you got to do is, once you've attached these 2 parts to attach your tail, you're just going to take these springs, okay? I'll put one in there, if you keep it attached long enough to get the tension on it, which will hold it in place. If you've ever put together a clipped wing cub, this will be very, very familiar to you. So, what I like to do is alternate how they connect. So what's going to happen is that tail turns. See that tail wheel move? See? Alright. Now, one thing I've noticed right here, right off the bat, first mod. They've got the rudder to the most outer hole. Okay? Well, if y'all watch my videos, you know I like maximum control on everything, because I'm a control freak. So I'm going to move it to the inside there. And these little keepers, are actually incredibly easy. All you do is you put your finger to hold your control rod in, pop this back over it, and then pop that right back on the control rod, and that's nice and secure. No need for little pieces of fuel line. Alright, folks, believe it or not, this thing's almost done. Alright, now I've already flexed. You got little nylon and foam hinges, which is nice. Got your little bitty carbon fiber spar that goes in there, just like so. Okay. Now, make sure you've got it oriented right. Okay, be just like this. So you got your little hole there, and you see these little tabs that act like a zip tie. Okay. And put your little spar through the hole there, possibly. Okay. Then you're going to go ahead and lift that up out of the way, and you should like a zip tie, and it did. There you go. That is in place. Now, remember I said those little bitty tiny screws? Yeah, well, let's not do that yet. Let's take a look at our linkage here. Now, normally what you should do in a build is go in there, bind up, and make sure your servos are already centered. Probably a good step. Should have probably done that. Not going to. And the reason I say I'm not going to, this is not a some overseas Banggood type plane, you know, that I got to do everything manually, which, though not to bang their products, but bang their products, Banggood, haha. I've often found, or especially if you're adding your own servo to something, but it's just a good practice to do. But I'm going to go ahead and trust them that they're centered, because I have my experience about 99% of the time the e-flite product or plane is already centered and in good shape. So a lot of you modelers out there say, well, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go in there and center your servo electronically. Yeah, I know. I'm not going to this time, though. Alright. That's in there. I got it in the closest, the hole closest to the control surface, because that gives you the most deflection, the most control. And That's just how I like it.
Because I'm a control freak, man. You know, I'm a control freak. I want to have all the control I can get.
And the reason I like to have all the control I can get, I can always dial that out with Expo or something later. See? And now that that's out of the way, I can turn my attention to the little bitty screw. This is definitely one you want to use a magnetic screwdriver on. Like that is not. Thought that was. Guess it ain't. Okay. Great. 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 Alright. Found a screw. Let me make sure I hit the camera correctly. I did. Okay. Alright. Same deal. Alright. So that you can experience, you're going to have the experience of the entire build. There's that little elusive screw there. Don't have to worry about a control surface linkage here. So we're going to put that up out of the way. Like again, you're going to feel a little click. Or you should anyways. Make sure the two halves, yep, clicked right in. I don't know if you heard it, wasn't all that loud. Alright, now that wonderful screw. Okay. It's going to go in this way. Okay. Completely missed it. Alright, what you want to do is, once you're actually, this little knuckle here on the end, let me see if you can see it. Little knuckle here, right there. That's not threaded. You're just feeding your screw through, but it's going to actually bite into the end of the strut there. That's what you're biting into. So I'm going to lock my finger in here, get a hold of my screwdriver there, and just take my time, feed that in there. It feels nice and snug. There you go. That's all you want to do. Now that's all nice and even. That's all good. Look at that, folks. Tail's on, rudder's hooked up, tail's hooked up. Everything is done as far as that goes. Now, to much larger services, take your spar. You're going to go ahead and feed that through. About halfway through. Take your wing, appropriate wing for the right side, unless you want to have a really strange model that will not fly. Let me get this turned around so you can see what I'm doing from this end.
On this end, man. Look at it from this end.
It's like, okay, Greg, we're done with that voice. Alright, now, let's think about this. I'll take wing here. You got these quick connectors. Alright. And you can see where your hookups are for the wing. Just guide that on in there. You know, kinda. You can. This is where I like this tilted plane stand. I can just see where I'm going and pop into place. Now, remember I said you had them 4 or 6 screws, 2 for the wing, or 4 for the wing, and 2 for the landing gear. Well, I'm going to grab 2 of them right now, right there. I want to say they're 8mm. If I remember in the instructions, I'm going to take my magnetic screwdriver. These are a little bit larger, so if I do drop them, they're not too terribly hard to see. Set that one down so I do one at a time. Okay. You can start feeling it, get some bite, in there. Alright, nice and snug. Yeah, actually it has a stopping point, so that's nice. I like it when they have a stopping point like that. They won't go any further. And then you have a tendency, it has like an open bottom it's going into. It has a tendency to, you have an instinct or propensity that you want to stretch it or over tighten it, and you don't want to do that. Just get it nice and snug. If it's got a stopping point, well then you know when you stop. Okay, it's got some bite now. There. Okay, there you go. Nice and tight. Not over tight, but tight. Alright, that takes care of that wing. Now, I'm going to have to move this out a little bit, change how my plane sits in here, so that I can do the other wing and you can see it. Alright, same deal. And you can see how quickly this plane is going together. Now you don't have to worry about how far your spar is in because it only goes so far in either wing. So as soon as you put this one on, it's going to automatically get itself all nice and lined up. It'll be all the way in on both wings. Now, take it here, kind of give a little bit of, grab the other end of the wing down here, line her up, and voila! Should pop right in. Okay, you can, I mean, it's very distinct. You feel it just kind of pushes right on in there. You can tell that you're seated the way you're supposed to be. So that's actually kind of what I like to do. Whenever if I can put my hand underneath the wing there and hold where I'm putting pressure, there's some dead plastic there, popping past. I gotta tell you, having arthritis in my hands, this is not good. Alright. Nice and tight. Not over tight, but nice and tight. And that's one of those things it's hard to explain to someone what's tight for you versus tight for me. It is better terminology to say snug. Most people kind of understand what you mean when you say snug. Then I say snug and just a little click more. It's not going to come undone. Okay, good. Now, there you go. Outside of putting the prop on, put this off the side now, and we can take a look. As I hit everything, the e-flite tractor. Now, to put the prop on, not going to put the prop on yet. Everybody knows. Alright, there. That's what it looks like. Prop on. Obviously not tightened down. But when you do, this is the part of we're in the build. We're going to want to bind your plane up. Get everything nice and pretty the way you want it in your radio. And then the very last thing you do is put your prop on. Because you know why? Cuts into you accidentally, and now you've got a really negative experience. So I'm going to show you how they do a lot of these. Let me get a little bit better of a screwdriver there. Okay. Incidentally, this prop is the same prop that you're going to use on the e-flite. There's a little screw in there. Keep your finger on it right there. Typical setup there. Okay. Get it set in there. Get it cranked down. Line your cowl up or your spinner up. Good to go. All right. Now, slide this forward, undo the hatch, okay, which is a monster hatch, by the way, with Norman in there. put that off the side. Now, in your kit, should have had a bind plug somewhere in there. Okay. Well, I have apparently decided that my bind plug was unnecessary. But I have multiple. Oh, here it is. And just so you know, it comes with like a really big, hefty bind plug. Alright, so what you're going to do, get your transmitter out. Okay. Okay. You're going to hold your, if you have a DX9 or DX6, or well, actually you need a DX, probably DX8 with this one. Alright. Hold that down. You're going to hold that down. Model select. Hopefully you can see this. And I'm going to go down here, pick myself up a new model. Just going to create it. Okay. Model type is obviously an airplane. Yes. Model name. I'm just going to name it tractor. Which I like the big letters, are all caps. That way I think I'm yelling at myself. Okay? But, I'm sorry this is kind of monotonous and boring, this part, but it is part of the build. You gotta name it. Tract. Oh my gosh, OR, right? Anyways. Alright, so we got tractor. We're going to go with 8. And now here's the part we want to know the flat mix on this plane. So, you're going to refer to your manual for your binding instructions. Which, actually, that's sometimes up close, up front. And let me see it. Hold on. Okay. I have a DX9, so it's going to be flaps. Okay, so it's going to be one aileron. So on your wing type, you're going to go one aileron, one flap. Okay, because what that means is you've got a, yes, what that means is you've got yourself a Y, okay, one port controlling the 2 servos for the flaps, and then you got one port controlling 2 servos for the ailerons, okay. That's why you have one channel. You have one aileron, one flap, but actually you have 2 ailerons and 2 flaps. But as far as the computer is concerned, you're only having one flap and 1 aileron. It's just a split in half on each one of those. Okay, so that means we're done with that. Now, if you wish, get our bind plug in, if you wish to have safe select involved, then what you would do is you would put your bind plug in. Let me get me an EC3 battery, a 3-cell. Got a 3-cell right here. Okay. You would take your bind plug, put it in your server, or in your receiver, plug in your battery to the plane. Okay. And as soon as you hear the ESC arm itself, then you remove the bind plug. And then proceed with normal binding procedure like you normally would. And that's how you bind with Safe Select enabled. If you want to bind traditionally, leave the bind plug in, hold your bind plug or bind button in on your transmitter, turn on your transmitter, and bind like you normally would. So we're going to do, well, we're learning new things here. Bind, okay, there's our safe, so, you know, they really didn't need that for this, but okay. Alright, so we're going to put in our bind plug. It really only, you know, it'll pop in. Turn that on. I heard that. The receiver's beeping. I'm going to remove my bind plug. The receiver is still beeping because I'm going to do safe select. I'm going to hold my bind plug in, turn on my receiver, and hold it away. And listen.
Binding. DSMX 22 milliseconds. Telemetry. Bind complete.
Alright, now did you notice that the control surfaces danced twice? That means that's telling you, that's another way of telling you that this plane has safe select. Alright, now everything should be in our neutral position. So I'm going to take my, if this works this way, I'm going to turn my things in, my little, there we go. Alright, what I did was I selected what switch I wanted to use for safe select. Okay? You do that by making sure that all your positions on your radio are in neutral, or you know, and they all have 100%, but they're all in neutral. You turn on your control, your transmitter, hold your switches or your sticks down the inside square, and then flip your switch that you want assigned about 5-6 times, and when you see the control surface move, that tells you then that safe select has now been pushed on. For me, it's my A toggle. It's just a 2 toggle, on, off. So it makes it simple for me. Alright. Folks, essentially, I'm being bad. Turn your transmitter on first. Bind plug has been removed. Transmitter's on. Looky there. Now, there we go, folks. Just that easy. This, I don't have the prop on, I'm inside. But look at that, already. My rudder, my elevator is neutral, where I want it to be. My ailerons are perfect, right where I want them to be. And everything works just great. Okay, now, something we're going to want to do, this is the last step, and this is going to leave the plane on and everything. This is the last step before you put your prop on. This is to get your mix for your flaps, because they're not working right now. They're not turned on because I don't have them assigned to switch. Okay, so for a DX9, okay, all right, you're going to have, all right, hopefully you can see this. You're going to here, you're going to go to your flap system, okay? You're going to assign that to switch D. It says for position 0, which is your first position, it's going to be negative 100%. Okay? So roll that over to negative 100%. Not 99, 100. The second position, or what you're going to refer to as your takeoff flaps, that's going to be in the 0 position. Okay? And then position 2 is going to be 100% positive. Okay? Now, that's your basic position, but now you want to put your mix in there. So for that takeoff flap, which is the first position but the middle one here, you're going to put a positive, get back on there, you're going to put on there a positive 6%, and on the landing flaps you're going to put a positive 10%. Okay? Alright, we're going to go down here to speed, all the way at the bottom. We're going to put that on a 2-second deployment. Alright. Okay, now, they're actually in, oh, that's beautiful. I have them in the opposite position. So, all that's simple. All I have to do, since this is in the down position, I would want my flaps down. So all I gotta do is go to my servo setup, okay, highlight and go over to reverse. Now I'm going to find my flap. See, look, it went down. Take off flaps, perfect, perfect. Now let me turn this around and show you. You can see the flaps, and hopefully you can see the tail or the elevator. All right, this should move slightly. When I go to the takeoff flaps, it moved just a tiny bit, and now the full landing flaps. And yes, this went down a little bit, just an ever so bit, ever so slightly. So, all right, back. All right, outside I put prop on. She's done. You know, I did another mistake there. I turned my. You should always undo your battery first, then turn your transmitter off. And turn your transmitter on. Oh. Turn your transmitter on. Okay. And then plug your plane in. Well, folks, thank you for watching. That was my first build video of any plane. And very, very simple. No hiccups at all. I think she's going to fly great. Yes, there's some stickers I can put on, but that's time consuming, and I'll refer to the manual where they go. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless. This is Fat Guy Flies RC saying stay safe, hug your family, and Dad's doing much better, by the way. Bye-bye.